And I'm live. And very washed out. Jesus. I can barely see my nose. All right. I'm just putting on I'm not vain. I promise you. I'm not vain. I'm at my brother's house again. And my sister-in-law has actually been doing an amazing job cleaning their house. Like it looks nothing like how it used to. I'm so proud of her, and I made a point to tell her too. But yeah, I'm at my brother's house again, house sitting, mainly for their dogs. So I'm more so dog sitting. Hey, Charlie! I'm not vain, as I was saying. I'm just putting myself. I'm putting myself on the TV in case if I miss comments. Which I don't think so. I don't think very many people are gonna hop on today, cause yeah, it's been a while. It has been a minute. And I have to put in my full name because I am not a popular YouTuber, so of course my channel will not pop up unless I put in the full name. Oh, Couch is here. Hey! How's school going, Couch? Yeah, which is, it's funny. I was mentioning that like I'm super washed out, and it's funny because I actually tanned. I'll show you guys in a minute. I've tanned, I promise. I've tanned. Yeah, see, I've got Yin Yang S A R A. It's still not showing up. I know. And it's so funny because like I feel really dark now because like I'm wearing foundation too that's like 5 shades darker than I normally am. Hey, Barsom Cat! Hey, haven't seen you in so long. But yeah, I swear, I've tanned. And then you look at me next to my kids, and you're just like, you've tanned? There it is. Okay. And there's my live stream. Okay. I had to type in my full username and then hit search, and then I found my channel. Okay. All right. So now I can be distracted by myself. The TV's on mute though, so. God, look at that double chin. I've lost weight, I promise. You know what? I'm gonna close the curtain real quick. Hold on. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just too bright. Now it's gonna be too dark. It's not, I mean, it's not that bad. I gotta wait for the lag. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not terrible. The lighting is terrible. I closed the curtain. I don't know. Maybe turn this light on? I don't know. That better? I mean, this is just terrible. I'm that way when I'm next to someone who has actually tanned. I get a barely there tan when I stand next to my brother. Oh no. I can't see the comments on the TV, so there's no point in me having this. Oh, darn it. All right, well, I'll exit out of that. No point in me having that on. Let's see. There we go. When I stand next to my brother, I turn into the whitest piece of paper out there. That's definitely like my youngest. I don't tan, I burn, so I'm just a piece of paper now. You know, I'm normally the same way, but I use the sports and endurance or sports something SPF 100, and it's the worst for you. It's really not healthy to use it. It's the chemicals in it are terrible, but I use it because it's the only thing that helps me. I've used. Let's see, I've used SPF 30, I've used SPF 35, I still burn and blister. I've used SPF 60 and 70, and I didn't burn as bad, but I still did burn. So using SPF 100 is the only thing that's worked for me that I haven't burned. And I actually got a tan because me and my coven, Emmy and Kari, we went out to Boulder Beach here in Vegas, and it was so beautiful, first and foremost, so beautiful. Super, super, super pretty. It was so much fun. There wasn't a whole lot of people out there. It was wonderful. And yeah, and I got some color. So I'm actually tan. But here, let me turn off this light so I can actually show you guys. Here, I'm gonna show you. I have actually tanned. Forewarning, I'm showing my belly. So there's my tummy. You can see I have tanned. And that's my stretch marks from having 2 kids. So you guys can see I have color. You can actually kind of see right now, like with this low lighting, you can see better that like I actually have color to my face. 'Cause like I was saying, I'm using a foundation that's normally like 5 shades too dark for me, but I had it because of a client. Thanks, couch. Oh shoot, I don't think I put my silent on. Hold on, let me fix that. So that way, there we go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Just so that way, you know, no big bling will pop up when somebody texts me. The face burn I'll end up getting when I got to the state. Oh, the state fair. Oh yeah, see, it's always places like that. Oh good, you can still hear me. Thank you. It's always good to know. Yeah, I feel like state fairs, town fairs, you know, little festivals and things is the worst place to get burns because you never really think about the sunblock and everything beforehand. You just think of going to the fair. We're going to have a good time. That's the thumbnail photo right there. Sarah's shirt about to go. It's the best reference because I am wearing pants. I'm wearing pants. So it's a little hard. I mean, I guess I could. My legs are definitely white. Look at that. Look at that. That's a contrast for you. Look at that. See how dark I've gotten? Yeah. I wish I was lying. It's such a difference. Oh, so yeah, I've been out in the sun a lot this year. Are you sure you live in Vegas? I wish I didn't. Luckily, there are buildings to go into. Yeah, no, definitely I always have to monitor. Show off the legs. Yeah, no, I do love being outside. Don't get me wrong. I definitely love being out in nature. I love being outside. You'll always catch me outside. Catch me outside. How about that? Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, no, you'll always find me outside because I love being outside. I love being outdoors. It's just I have a sensitivity. Actually, the day after going to Boulder Beach, I know, shame, I'm sorry, I had to. The day after going to Boulder Beach and I got tanned and everything, I actually felt terrible the next day. I only had like 2 beers while we were out there, but had a bunch of water, didn't even get buzzed, and like everything was great. It was just a good time that we had all together at Boulder Beach. But the next day I felt terrible. I felt like I had the flu mixed with a hangover. Like my whole body just hurt. I felt sick. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's the sun poisoning. That's right. I may not have gotten burned, but I still got sick. Fuck my life. And there goes the monetizing. But yeah, I felt like that. Turns out I was just allergic to Isaac. Frame of reference, Isaac's my ex-fiance. who apparently is, I guess, I don't know. I haven't heard much about him in a few months, so I hope he's over me by now. But earlier this year, he was still not over it. It's like, dude, move on. Oh yeah, my Yu Yu Hakusho shirt. Yeah. I actually got this while I was out in Seattle. I was at Box Lunch in Seattle. And yes, I have been keeping up with cutting my hair. Ugh, it's not working out today. I was gonna put it up in a ponytail because it's driving me crazy. I have been so close to just take the hair clippers to my hair again and just say fuck it and go back to pixie, but I'm like, no, no, we've done so good. It's grown out so much. You know, everything's nice and even again because of all the breakage from all the bleaching that I did. Oh my gosh, like, oh, it's finally all off. All the bleached part is off, but now I just have these ends where I did some black dye before I went red. No, I'm just waiting for that to get all cut off so I can actually grow it out. I do want to grow it out. It's just been a while. No, I'm not gonna do it again. It takes too long to grow out, and then I have to deal with the mullets. I hate the outdoors when it's sunny. My body doesn't like the sun or the heat. See, okay, growing up in Las Vegas, I hate the heat. I don't like it, but I can tolerate it. I can put up with it. I can handle the heat really well. I just don't like to. I really don't like to. It's terrible. Um, I want to go blue, but my red is still in my hair. Oh, you should try color removal. It doesn't really work very well with red hair, but I mean, definitely go to a salon though too, especially because you want to go to somebody who actually understands hair color and the science behind it. I'm pretty close to cutting off some of my hair tonight because it's too hot. Oh, but the heat won't be around much longer. Yeah, that's true. You are up north, so you will be out of the heat a lot faster than me. And my dad's internal thermometer, he overheats pretty easily. Oh, yeah. See, I always run cold. I've always been a naturally like cold-hearted person. I just, I just run colder than most people. Like, if the AC is low enough, like I will actually, like my feet will get cold, my hands will get cold. It's just how I've always been. I'm still gonna put my hair up because it's just driving me crazy. I've asked my hairdresser friend, and the only way to get red out is bleach, and I don't know if I want to do that. It's not the only way. It's not the only way. I can tell you that. My sister was a cosmetologist for a long time. It's not the only way to get rid of red. Yes, it's the quickest and easiest way to get red out, but it's not the only way. So don't let them convince you on that. It's not the only way. Yeah, no, I'm not, me, cold-hearted. Okay, so how was your guys' summer? We haven't talked all summer because it was next to impossible to do any kind of live stream with the kids being home from school, because if it wasn't my youngest, it was my oldest. Like, I barely had time to myself. So much has happened. Oh my God, this was the craziest summer of my life. Craziest. But back to the hair thing. I'll probably end up dyeing it tonight. I've got a date finally on Friday, and I don't want roots showing. Oh, I'm so excited for you, Charlie. Let me know how it goes. Keep me updated. Give me all the deets. I want to know. But yeah, as I mentioned, I've lost some weight. I don't know what weight I really started at the beginning of summer, but I do know from earlier this year to now, I've lost 13 pounds. Yay. You can't really see it in my arms because I haven't been working on my arms. You better. But I've just been like eating healthier, light exercise, I guess you could say. Like I've just been doing like stretching and like doing all the heavy lifting around the house too, because my parents are getting older. So I don't even let them. Like, I'm just like, no, you sit your fucking ass down. I'm picking that up and you're just going to watch. And they're just like, but it's too heavy for you. I'm like, I am 30. I am 30 now. I am picking up that goddamn box and you're going to sit there and you're going to watch me do it, okay? And so they're like, oh, okay, okay. So picking up all the heavy stuff around the house, and like anytime there's a heavy package delivery or anything, like I'm always the first one to grab it and everything. So I've been, kind of doing like, I guess you could say like a convenience workout. But yeah, no, anytime, whenever I'm anywhere, like visiting anywhere, like Seattle, and like when I was in Kansas, like I did a lot of walking. I did a lot of just going up and down stairs and everything. And even here, like they got a 2-story, so I've been going up and down stairs here. So I'm the same when it comes to my mother. She'll try getting ballsy every so often and try lifting something heavy, and she ends up hurting herself. Yeah, see, exactly. Like, my mom is super klutzy. She might be on watching right now, but she is super klutzy. It's something just in the family. She's got the klutz gene, and she'll always end up hurting herself. And I always end up like just yelling at her about it. I'm just like, why are you even trying? What are you even doing? Put that fucking thing down. Let me pick it up. And just relax, lady, relax. I got a bike. I bought myself a bike, yay! But yeah, I was going through an audit earlier this year with the IRS, and that was fun to deal with. And they kept sending me letters. Like, they sent me like 4 letters saying that they were going to need 60 additional days after the initial date that I was supposed to get my tax return. And they kept just sending me letter after letter saying they needed 60 more days, 60 more days, 60 more days. And then finally, just out of nowhere, I just decided to check my bank account, and bam, I had my return. And I was just like, oh, because you found nothing. There is nothing on my record. There is nothing that I've ever done wrong in my life. I've always filed taxes. I've always paid my taxes. Like, what do you want from me? Like, why was I audited in the first place? I don't know, but yeah, I finally got my tax return. I was able to, take my kids out to have fun and spoil them with gifts and everything. And I was able to get myself a bike. My parents bought my youngest a bike, and my oldest, her birthday's tomorrow. She's 11. I got her a bike as well because she saw us with the bikes, and she's like, well, I want one too. And I told her, I was like, well, I didn't think you wanted one because you had your skateboard. And she's like, no, I want a bike too. And I was like, all right. So I brought up I think it was Walmart website, and because that's where I got my bike, which was a really good bike. And I gave her my phone, and I was like, find one that you like. And she did. And so I ordered it, and it's coming. Well, it was supposed to come today. I don't think it's going to come today, which I'm kind of glad, because it's a very big box, and the bike doesn't come assembled. Oh, thank you, Charlie. So I don't want my parents, again, to hurt themselves to put that together. So, because I put mine together just fine. Very minimal cussing. Very minimal cussing. Let's see. They want to not have to pay you the money. Yeah, seriously. I think the IRS was actually really, truly trying to get out of paying me. And they ended up finding out that there was nothing on my record to hold that money away from me. So, cussing makes the world go round, doesn't it? I was just really happy to finally get a bike. My boyfriend was very kind enough to get me a bike lock and everything. And yeah, that's another thing that's happened this summer. This summer was just absolutely fucking insane. Like, Jesus, if I could give you a play-by-play, I would, but we don't have time for that. So, beginning of the summer was very rough. As you guys know, I was going through a breakup. And then and my best friend was also going through a breakup. And then my other best friend is now going through a divorce. And oh my God, like we were all single together for the first time, I think, ever. And like it was just crazy. Like we were all single at the same time. Like me, Kari, Emmy, we were all single at the same time. And we were going out and everything, and they were all getting hit on and everything, and then all these like creepy old men were just like hanging around me, and I'm just like, I don't want to be single anymore. Oh my God. The one who just got married, splitting the sheets. Yes, unfortunately, the one that just got married last year. Yeah, she is unfortunately already going to be going through a divorce. It sucks, but at the same time, not surprised. You know, just gonna say that, not surprised. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. You know? I'm not gonna give out personal details. Oh God. Yes, please fight that urge there, couch. I'm not gonna give all the details because obviously it's a very personal thing to go through a divorce and everything. Very private, very personal, especially when, you know, you guys don't really know her very well. She's only been on here like a few, I think once. I think no, she was in a video that I did a long time ago. She was in the Whisper Challenge video, and then she was in one live stream. Oh, and then I did another video of her where she was reacting to pimple popping videos. She loves those. Spoiler alert, people suck and relationships end. Yeah, pretty bad when you're not surprised by someone's divorce. Well, I also know like very personal details of like pre-agreement to the divorce, so that's why I'm not very surprised by it, because of like I know a lot about the issues that they had. Because with Emmy and I being so close, I mean, 19-year-long friendship, you kind of know everybody's business. You kind of know when they poop. Sometimes we call each other while we're pooping on the toilet, you know. It's like it's just one of those things. We just know each other's like full details of life and everything, so that's why it's just not surprising for me and for Kari. Like we were both just kind of like, yeah, we saw this coming. But at the same time, you know, there was also, you know, pre-warning signs that we kind of tried to get Emmy to be aware of before the wedding, but, and I'm not like directing this as like it was his issues or her issues, like it just was the two of them. Like their chemistry just wasn't right. Like it's hard to say without giving those personal details, but basically it was always a struggle for them. It was always a lot of work. And yes, relationships are a lot of work, but it was like daily for them. And that's where I was just like, you know, yes, relationships aren't easy, but they're not meant to be that hard either. Like there is some sort of like ease to it that should be there, and it just wasn't. I'm gonna just angle this down a little bit more. There we go. I've got to go. Time for dinner time for me, says Rarsome Cat. If I haven't missed you already, then bye. Enjoy your dinner. I used to live with Isaac. I'm never surprised by people wanting to get the heck away from someone. Marriage is dumb. Marriage can be dumb. I understand like both sides of the spectrum of people as to like why people want to get married and also why people just don't ever want to get married. I understand both ends. Like I get it. Like it's not something necessary for people to have to do anymore, because there are privileges that people have for just being in a relationship now that back in the day, like 20 years ago, not even that long ago, you had to have like documents and like proof of marriage and everything in order to have those privileges. And now it's just like, oh, you're their boyfriend or you're their girlfriend, okay, or their partner, whatever you identify as in your relationship. You're like, okay, so, well, here's what's going on with them. Whether it's medically, legally, those privileges are just kind of given now, because they understand that some people just don't want to get married. So I understand the lack of necessity to get married nowadays, but yeah, really by personal choice. I agree, Charlie. While there may be benefits to being married, it's not a necessity anymore. Exactly. I mean, there are still more benefits to being married than not when it comes to certain things. Like when it comes to estates, life insurance policies kind of thing. It's not automatic. That's something that you have to designate to a person, especially if you're not going to get married. That's something that people got to be aware of. Like if you have a life insurance policy and you're not married, you got to make sure that that person that you want to be in that forever relationship with without getting married to, you got to put them like straight up down on the document that they are to get, whatever money if something were to happen to you. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I got a message. So, not from anybody important. just my youngest father. Tax insurance, taxes, insurance, I've actually, I think you can file taxes with somebody now, even if you're not married. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me. But I think that that's allowed now. But yeah, there are still some things that are just an automatic benefit for being married versus not. Whereas not, you have a lot more paperwork and everything. So that's just my personal views on it. I personally still like marriage. I think marriage is a very beautiful thing. I think it's wonderful for people to still have like a ceremony to celebrate their relationship and everything that's shared with friends and family. And yeah, I would like to get married again one day. I mean, my first marriage, I really don't even really consider it a marriage because we were only together, I think, 9 months when I got married to my first husband. And I was already pregnant. So, yeah, it was just one of those things of like, we got married because I needed insurance because I was pregnant and I was no longer on my parents' insurance. So, yeah, I don't really, I mean, it legally, yeah, it counts. And yeah, we went through divorce and everything, and we have everything documented and court ordered and da 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 da. But everything else, emotionally, I don't really count it. And plus, the marriage was just terrible. It was so short-lived, and it was just awful. It was just awful. It was one of my worst relationships ever. And yet, for some reason, that was also my only like longest relationship I've ever had. Everything else was only just a year and a half. That's it. Not any more than a year and a half, like almost down to the day, a year and a half. And oh God, every relationship that I've had. So here's hoping that this one sticks. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Some states, if not all, have that 7-year law if you're living with someone for 7 years that you can start filing jointly. Some states may be even sooner than that, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, it's what do they call it? What's the word? There's a phrase for it. Common law. Thank you, Couch. Common law. I wanted to figure it out, man. My brain is just not working today, which is normal. That's normal. Couch says, I feel like once the ceremony is over, people get comfortable and take the situation for granted. If there's no marriage, It forces someone to spend every day earning the adoration of their partner. Um, we're going to have a special guest here soon. Yeah, I think you told me about that, dude. Yeah. Thank you, Couch. You'd figure it out. He just helped with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My brain is just not here. My brother only has a Keurig. Is that red machine right there? It's the Keurig, and I understand the convenience of Keurigs, but also like they are a design flaw. And on top of it, the coffee's always watered down. There, I said it. It's always watered down. It's not good. I don't like it, but I deal with it. That's why I'm drinking water, because it's just not that good. I thought you and your brother were not speaking. No, that's my other brother. My oldest brother. Yeah, drip coffee. Oh, drip coffee or French press. So good. Can you tell I'm like addicted to coffee? Oh my God. Oh, speaking of addictions, quitting smoking hasn't happened. Not yet, anyway. I am on the right track though, because now that I have the bike and I went a little bit around the neighborhood, just me on my bike, because I go with my kids, and there was an ambulance down the street. My mom wanted to be nosy. She was just like, go see if that's somebody we know. So, so I went around the neighborhood and found it was nobody that we knew. I do sincerely hope everything is okay with them, but didn't seem like it was too much of an emergency because there were no sirens or anything. And usually when there is like a big emergency, there are sirens blaring and everything. There was no cops, there was no tape or anything. So hopefully it was just a minor emergency. Yeah, quitting smoking hasn't happened. I'm getting there because, like I was saying with the bike ride, yeah, there's a very slight uphill slope in my neighborhood. It's very slight, but it's enough to really give you resistance on a bike. And I didn't realize that until I was riding back home and I had to go back up that hill. And oh my God, my thighs and my butt and my calves and everything, my whole leg, both my legs, they were just burning. And I was just telling myself, because I wanted to hop off and just walk the bike the rest of the way up to the corner that I had to turn down to go my street. But I told it to lose weight. You're going to do this. You're going to feel that burn, and you're going to know what you did when you got lazy and did not work out when you were supposed to. Gonna make that body look good for a new man friend. Well, it is, I can't speak. We were broken up for over a month, officially, like, we were broken up for over a month. But we stopped talking, for, it was like 2.5 weeks. We didn't talk to each other after the breakup. We stopped talking for like 2.5 weeks. And in that 2.5 weeks, I was having the worst time of my life. I was so depressed. I was so miserable. And it was just kind of one of those things of like, it was weird for me because every time I've broken up with somebody or somebody's broken up with me, which it's more so they break up. Shock and awe! I am a traumatized human being with several mental issues. So after the breakup, we stopped talking for like 2.5 weeks, and the entire 2.5 weeks, I was just miserable. Yes, it's the same secret man from earlier. Yeah, it turns out we were both miserable without each other. Because normally it only takes me a couple of days. Like I cry about it for a couple of days and then I'm fine. Like I'm back to it. I am good to go. And this time I just wasn't. So I'm up to speed now. No, yeah. Oh God, trust me. It was, like I said, this summer was insane. Yeah, so we didn't talk for the 2.5 weeks, and like I was saying, I was miserable. I couldn't get over it. But he had told me when we had broken up that, by the end of the week, he was gonna mail my stuff back to me. Uh, Wait, what? Turns out I was miserable when you two were without each other. Oh, wait, were you? Well, you did have a rough summer too, Couch. You had a terrible summer. Like, you've had a terrible year, man. It's like just started like look really good for you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you. Like, man, guys, like, Couch is back in school. That is fucking awesome, man. I'm so proud of you. That is not an easy thing to decide on, and I'm just so happy for you, man. But yeah, it was coming up on 3 weeks, and I still hadn't heard anything about him sending me my package of my things. Yeah, you were amazing. You and Charlie and all my friends, everybody was so amazing to be there for me. Like, you guys, I can't thank you guys enough. Like, I really was in a bad position, just mentally, just terrible. Sorry, I got like a hangnail, and it's driving me nuts. Anyway, so I sent him a text around the 2.5 week mark after our breakup. No, I love you guys. I want to see you guys happy too. You better be happy. Do you, boo? Apparently the water doesn't want me to be happy. It just spat back at me. I kind of caved because I was tired of waiting. And I know he has ADHD and everything, so I figured also he probably just needed a reminder of, hey, send me my shit. So I sent him a text. I was like, hey. And he just like responded back almost immediately. He was like, hey! And I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to know when you're going to be able to send my stuff out to me. And he was just like, fuck, you're right. I'm so sorry. Okay, so like he was going through a lot. He was going through fraud issues with his credit card and everything. As long as things work out with this new guy, I'll hopefully have someone to be happy with. Well, I hope so, and I really hope that, like, no matter what, it's all healthy, it's all good, and that you are happy, girl. Get it. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, that's fine. You're going through, credit card fraud and all that stuff, and you're dealing with a lot of drama, I'm sure. Just let me know when you can. And he was just like, yeah, no, definitely I will. But hey, have you been? And I was like, I wasn't wanting to start a conversation. I was literally just texting him just to find out about my things that I had left out in Seattle with him. And I told him, I was like, because I wanted to be like not miserable. So I was like, I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you? And he was just like, I'm miserable. I miss you so much, and this and that, the other. And like he hadn't even like slept in his own bed since we broke up, and like he had been doing miserable at work, and he'd been miserable like as far as like not even like going out to see his friends or anything, and all this other stuff. And I felt terrible about all that. Because then I was just like, yeah, actually, I lied. I'm not doing good either. Like, yeah, you can have those things. What was that? Yeah, you can have those things in case you want to know. Stay the night sometime. Yeah. In case you want to, stay the night. Yeah. No, actually, yeah, I felt really bad for him because, like, he was really going through a lot. And then he was like on top of it, like he was having a hard time getting over me, And so we just kept talking. Like, seriously, we did not stop talking at all. At all. Since then, we have been talking every single day, pretty much like all day long. Um, and yeah, it was just kind of like one of those things of like, we really want to be with each other and we really want to make it work. And in order to do that, you know, we got to learn how to communicate, because we finally found out, like, we broke things down, like everything that we wanted to talk about, because we wanted to have a serious face-to-face talk about getting back together. But you know, my whole thing was that he had to come out here to visit me if he wanted us to get back together. And his whole thing was, we need to talk about it face to face before we can agree to get back together. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll do the trip. But it was going to be just platonic. It was just going to be a platonic visit and everything. So I get out there and we end up having our talk and everything. And we found out a lot of our arguments that we had had before in the past was because we didn't understand where the other person was coming from. To where we were laughing so hard because there was one fight in particular that we had that we found out could have been completely avoided if we just understood where the other person was at mentally when it came to that conversation that turned into the argument. Like, we were just like, oh my God, like, I thought you were mad because of this. And he was like, no, I thought you were mad because of this. And I was just like, no, that didn't even cross my mind. And it still wouldn't even cross my mind. Like, no, I was mad about this. So we were laughing about a lot because we found out we just needed to learn how to talk to each other. He's a very, very logical person. He is all about like what makes the most sense logically. And I'm a very emotional person, and I am about like, yeah, communication is so key. And you know, and it's funny too because everybody talks about communication being key. Communication is important in a relationship, but nobody really talks about that it's how you communicate that is the most important. You have to be able to make sure that your partner is on the same page as you. Because if they're 2 pages ahead and you're scrolling through the pages going backwards, they're not going to know where the hell that came from and why you're all of a sudden bringing it up, because you're thinking that you're over here when they're right here and they're just like, where are you even in this book? So it really does take a lot to stop and really think about, okay, where's your mindset? This is my mindset. Where's yours? And then communication can happen so much easier. Do any of us really follow any form of proper communication when we're caught up in our emotions? That's very true. So very true. And I am so guilty of that. Oh my God, I'm so guilty of that. Because yeah, when my problem is because I've nearly, like, and I mean nearly as far as like one relationship is the only exception. All the other relationships I've had, I had been cheated on. And half of those relationships I had been cheated on and left for. So I have trauma. Raise his hand. Guilty as charged. Yeah, right? Emotions are a bitch when you're a woman, though. I feel like emotions are just terrible. They can overrun your mind and everything. But anyway, yeah, so because every relationship I've ever been in, really, I've been cheated on, and half of them I've been cheated on and left for the other person, I am very traumatized. That's all I know is unhealthy, unhappy, just unfaithful relationships. Happy, sad, mad, give me ice cream or go to hell. Oh, that's another thing. I became allergic to something again over the summer, and yeah, that was not fun, but great to find out. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, like I found out that like while doing some like really deep thinking about like my mental thought process, why I freak out on certain things that I do. And I had to explain to him, like, look, I react this way because I recognize behaviors, I recognize traits and phrases and habits, and it's very triggering for me because it's like I don't want to go through that again. Um, and he's not doing it intentionally. He's never been like that, and he's never been in a relationship where you know he's with somebody that's as traumatized as I am when it comes to relationships. So like I felt like I couldn't be in a relationship. I felt like I was too broken for one. And he was just like, no, you're not broken. Like, we just got to work this out. We got to figure this out. And I'm just like, yeah, nope, I'm broken. You can't handle me because I'm driving you nuts. Yeah, it was just a whole roller coaster. When you've had unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship, that's all you know. Yeah. And almost seem to be all you attract. Yeah, seriously. Like I felt like, I still feel like that's all I'm good for, is for unhealthy, unhappy relationships. And so it's taking a lot of mental work, a lot of, it's not the best way to handle it. I'm not promoting it, but I'm just saying self therapy works for me. Doing research and for me to do those exercises to myself helps me a lot. Yes, I could get better help if I went to a therapist. Ironically, I said BetterHelp. I'm not sponsored, but I'm just saying I did use BetterHelp. I did use them last year, and they were actually really great. I love their services. But after the guy I was talking to last year, it really triggered past experiences that I had with guys, and it became very difficult to trust him now. Yeah. See, and that's where I was explaining to Secret Man of like, the reason why a lot of our fights happened because of me, was because, I'm just traumatized. I don't want to go through those feelings and those emotions again. Like, I just don't want to go through that. And so it's hard for me to just trust and let go and just be like, yep, no, I can trust you. Do you? And I know you're not going to screw up and hurt me. So hard for me to do that, because especially with that's all I've known, that's all I've ever experienced. In my head, I'm just like, you're setting yourself up to get hurt again, girl. You better fucking watch him. You better like be on him. And you can't unlearn or rewire your brain after trauma. Yeah. And that's where it's not necessarily relearning or retraining. It is definitely more of like kind of sort of nursing that trauma while also reintroducing new ways to trust somebody. Because I just don't. I have such a hard time trusting a partner in a relationship. Like, for me, I'm just like automatically like they are out to hurt me. Like, they don't care about me. They're just out to have their cake and eat it too. And it doesn't help either that I live in Las Vegas, born and raised here, where it's encouraged for men to cheat and encouraged for women to be sleazy. And it's just not fun here. It's like you get to that point, especially like after, your teens and your early 20s, you get in your late 20s and your 30s, and you're just like, when are people gonna grow up? You don't just get in a relationship to cheat. You just don't. If you want to sleep around, then be in an open relationship. Be in a relationship that allows you to have your cake and eat it too, but also communicate, because that's also part of being in an open relationship, is a lot of communication. And it's like, if you're not up for that, then just don't be in a relationship with anybody. Like, just don't. And be open with people. Be open with women, men, whoever it is. Just be open with them of like, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship, but I would like to sleep with you, or I would like to, just have a date with somebody. Like, just be open, be real, be honest, grow the fuck up. Why does everybody have to fucking cheat? Even a 40-year-old man that I know about very much had cheated on his wife and got caught recently and broke his hand because he got caught. I'm not going to say who. Nobody I'm related to, but somebody that I do have past relations with. It's my ex-husband. It's possible to nurse a wound after it has been opened numerous times, but remnants will always be there, and there will always be scars left over. Just got to make sure those scars aren't reopened. Exactly. And the problem that I was having in the beginning of my relationship with Secret Man was that, you know, I was the one that was basically reopening my own wounds of like, no, you're cheating, you're doing something wrong, you're hiding things from me. And he's honestly just sitting there like confused as hell because that's just how my mind works. And so with getting back together, you know, we had to have the sit down talk. We had to sit down and really discuss like, is this something you can handle? Because I am a lot. I acknowledge I'm a lot. I acknowledge that I am very troublesome and very much a burden. I get it. And he was just like, no, you're not a burden. Yes, you are traumatized, and I want to help you get through that, and I just want to be with you. And so, you know, we had a beautiful weekend while I was out there. And it was wonderful and everything. And then on my last day, we agreed to be together. So he then booked a flight to come out here. And it was just not this past weekend, but the weekend before last. He was out here for 2 days, technically 3, but he had to leave early in the morning. So, but yeah, he got to meet my kids. He got to meet my parents, my best friends. I didn't live stream while he was out here because obviously, you know, I call him Secret Man. He works in a job that does require certain decorum when it comes to social media and things like that. So, you know, that's why he's Secret Man and, you know, everything. So it's like, it's mainly for his job security. I'm totally the same way. It comes down to communication and whether or not one person is willing to work with you and show you that they are legitimately different. Exactly. And so far, yeah, he really has put in the work, and every time, the couple little fights that we've had so far, very little fights, and I'm not going to even go into what they were because they're not even worth it mentioning as far as details of it, but he was so different this time around. Like, he very much was just calm and trying to keep me calm and listening to me and hearing me out, and he apologized of what he did wrong, and, you know, and I apologized what I overreacted to and did wrong. And yeah, it's just been very different already. It's, you know, to where like I hate bringing up something that might turn into an argument, and it, you know, it doesn't even, because you know, that's all I have to say to him is like, look, I'm not bringing this up to fight about it, and he's just like, okay, and we talk, and it's all good, and it's nice to be in an adult relationship for once. It's like, holy cow, this is what it's like. This is what it's like. So yeah, it's been really great. And like I said, I've been working on myself a lot. That's why I got the bike for myself, so that way I could have a little bit of freedom. But also mainly, you know, work out, have that exercise. Because I can work out from home. I've been trained. I know what to do. I know how to work out from home. I know all the things, all the tips and tricks and everything. I just don't like to because it gets boring. I like going to the gym. I like going to the dojo. I'm just not ready to go back to the dojo just yet. I need to build up more muscle before I can actually handle a class, because it's an hour-long class, and when you're a higher ranked belt, you're... Shit, sorry. Kari tried to call me. Sorry. Okay. You know what? I actually do need to call her back because I don't know if she has the address to this place. So I gotta make sure that she knows where she's going. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be right back. I promise. I promise.